Oh boy, this story was going to be in my next short stories one in a couple of weeks, but it's basically gotten too big to the point to where it has to be broken up into its own video. So with that being said, hello everybody, it is the me, GamePenguin21, and today, well, we're going to be talking about some interesting actual drama rather than my standard drama that I have to do or deal with, I guess. This one actually comes from a fellow person who I kind of respect, but also kind of don't, that being Fritangaplays. I do respect some of his opinions, but it's more of just a mutual, I understand where you're coming from, but I hold something different. At least only slightly. It's not as extreme, I guess, is the way to do it. Do note that this actually video is not meant to insult or basically maim anyone's reputation. I am just reporting on this because, quite honestly, this video is probably going to not do too well because everyone's going to be making a video on this, but it is also too big of a problem to ignore for even someone like me. So, what happened? Well, good old Broken Games HD, someone who I have kind of talked about on this channel at least once or twice, very much in passing, decided to copyright strike, not copyright claim, mind you, copyright strike Frit's video very recently, and was blatantly, obviously trying to abuse the copyright system. So, with that being said, if you like what it is that I do and want to support me in any way, shape, or form, links down to everything in the description below, but back to the actual story. So, again, what happened? Overall, the video itself was about a 2-minute clip that was in a podcast that Broken Games HD seems to run on his own specific channel. Now, do note that I am specifically talking about 2 minutes of a clip within a 17-ish long minute video. Again, we'll get into that in a little bit. But overall, this video seemed to just do the standard thing that Frit has done with a number of times. This isn't also the first time he has been copyright struck before by someone else like that. In fact, it's gotten to the point of where someone else who also I know from about a couple years back didn't strike my channel, but made very much a interesting comment saying that that was meant to be something completely different. And I believe it was someone having to do with Ollie, a clip from him. And I still get shit about my Synthetic Man short, not a full video, mind you, but a Synthetic Man short that some people still defend to this day. And I think even mentioning that name in this video might get people over to this one. So, oops. But of course, what exactly happened here? Well, obviously, at Broken Games HT being rather butthurt that his apparently original content was being used, despite the fact that the majority of that content was just him talking over some gameplay that someone was playing, or a PlayStation trailer to kind of entertain the masses because, you know, it's a podcast or something like that. Overall, Papa Frit got a copyright struck the video and got it taken down successfully. This is a clear abuse of the copyright system on YouTube, and I think that everyone and their mother can realize this. Now, I do want to preface this by saying that yes, it is a strike and not specifically a claim. There are two different reasons, and I will explain both of them rather briefly. A strike is a specifically more worse thing than a claim, so we'll explain the claim first. Now, to my knowledge, as the claim goes, the claim itself basically just demonetizes it for the person who made the video and gives the monetization over to someone else. That claim in and of itself, yes, is an abuse of the system as well, but it at least keeps the video up and doesn't necessarily impede the channel specifically. Now, it does kind of shadow ban a person a little bit. It really depends on it, as, again, the algorithm is ever-changing and all praise the algorithm, but a claim is far less severe. Yes, certainly your monetization for that specific video might be hit, but overall it won't necessarily affect your channel as bad or as monstrously as specifically a strike. Now, what is a strike? A copyright strike, to my knowledge, is that you get 3 of those. One of which you have the first strike, which basically gets the video taken down and or removed, and essentially just allows that to kind of, sort of, maybe decide to become not a good time for the copyright holder, to which they have about 90 days for it. Again, I will probably leave Frit's original video of his take on this because he explains it better than I do, but essentially he responds within 90 days, to which then BG then responds within 30 days, or 10 days, I think it's actually 10, upon which then they decide to have to do it within a court of law. The problem with this is that you have to email them specifically with a lot of your personal details and information. Some people use this in a falsified way because more often than not, it's a very intrusive and expensive process in order to actually fight this thing out in court. And overall, while yes, Frit himself is a super huge channel, I don't believe he's making a super ton of money from all the people or fans that he has. It might be a lot more than I'm thinking about, but quite honestly, But overall, yes, he did get the copyright strike, and he does have to fight it if he wants to keep his channel up. And, I mean, he could ignore it technically within 90 days, though it's not to say that BG won't decide to strike another video if he happens to find one. I'm actually even scared of producing this video for the same reasons. But again, it actually goes a little bit deeper than that, and with the blatant actual abuse of the copyright system, what was BG's response to this? Well, we have him actually bragging about it on Twitter. This is actually I originally found this out through garaofttherage's community post, which I will also link in the description, but essentially, this is the screenshot that I found of his. Quote, BG himself, retweeting Poppy Frit, or Thick Sick Boy in this context, basically saying, hey, I got a copyright strike. But BG said, yep, and I did it with a big old Kool-Aid smile on my face too. His words, not mine. Please don't cancel me. Don't use my content without my permission, weirdo. Fuck you thought this was. You thought I wouldn't do nothing like you did when your brother took your girl, F-U-H, which I believe stands for F-U-Ho, so, Now, obviously, this is a clear and very distinct violation of the actual copyright system, and while, yes, that statement itself is kind of I'm even kind of scared just saying that. Again, this is his words, not mine, and I will refrain from saying anything more on the actual statements involved here, other than the fact of, don't use my content without my permission, weirdo. Here's the thing. Specifically, you don't understand what copyright law actually is. Specifically, again, is content of fair use. Is the actual term here. See, fair use content covers a very specific set of commentary stuff, which, again, commentary and parody being specifically called out. I believe also for, what the heck was it? It's like critique. Yes, critique itself is also specifically called out within the actual guidelines of what fair use is. Not only that, the majority of the actual content should and is 100% legal to use so long as you don't use too much of it. Again, it's a proportional amount, and at least in America, for the majority of this, I believe that Fritangaplays would actually win, and he definitely has a case to it. And it was very edited with specific zooms in specific areas, so it wasn't just him actually using the content and the footage verbatim, playing it nonstop. He actually interrupted it in several portions, gave his own commentary, gave his own critiques on the situation, and, essentially transformed it to be as coherent to the fair use as possible. This is very clear to anyone who has watched the video and very clear to anyone in the commentary community. We do ride that line very nicely. But overall, I guess BG just decided to not care about that and, is probably going to get a lot of pushback and a lot of flack for actually abusing the copyrighted system. I'm not sure if this will actually, make him more infamous than, a specific Mr. TV, who is still seemingly to stay in his lane, which commends to him because he got his royal butt handed to him. If you want to see more on the Quantum TV stuff, I have some more stuff on my channel. If you go and search QTV or Quantum TV around, there is definitely several amounts of videos to it, but also several people have covered that, so I'm not going to reiterate anything specifically here. Just know that he is another person who also abused the copyright system to try to get one over, and it actually had the Streisand effect, making him look not only unhinged, but also very, 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 very bad. So, yeah. I'm assuming that might be what's happening with BG right now, but again, I don't really care too much to investigate more than that. But anyway, I think that my final personal thoughts on this, well, to be clear, BG decided to completely and utterly abuse the copyright system. wholeheartedly, without any sort of rebuttal or anything to that. The YouTube copyright system does suck a fair amount of donkey balls, and to be quite honest, it is very unfair to the YouTubers in question. There is very rarely any time for people to react, and quite honestly, if you miss some stuff, yeah, there are going to be problems here. Now, I have made sure to specifically going to save this for the last bit, but BG, if you decide to copyright this video for whatever reason, do note that this is within the guidelines of the actual usage of fair use. I am using a publicly available tweet that is still up on your own thing, and I am also using you retweeting Fritangaplays as it. All of the gameplay that has been captured is specifically my gameplay, whatever gameplay I decide to do in the background of this rant, and if you decide to try to take this video down, boy, I might have to actually fight you on this, and I am not in the mindset to do that. Really hates it when depression hits you hard. But in any case, I think that'll about do it for my thoughts on the situation. Overall, it's very bad for Frit, and I'm willing to bet that this moving forward will have a very big, significant impact on maybe Frit's channel, but also specifically Broken Games ZHD. I'm not sure of the actual specifics, but also just as a little bit of a rumor, there was apparently a time when BG also was doing this to a lot of his other critics that also did to the fair use system. Though that seems to be more rumors and with very little evidence personally to go off of, I'm not going to make that claim. But he did seem very brazen about this, actually. He did seem very brazen about this, not only not denying it, but flat out confirming it and wearing it as a badge of honor, which is probably the most disgusting behavior out of all of that. In any case, links to all of the people who I referenced and more or less talked about in the description below. If you want to do some further investigation, I believe also Crab made a video on this, and several other people have also made videos on this. Again, searching around, you'll most likely find it, but I'll link a couple in the description below. In any case, my name is GamePenguin21. Thank you for listening to me rant into a microphone about seemingly something that I am very autistically fixated on for the time being. If you like what it is that I do, want to support me in any other way, shapes, or forms other than like and subscribe, which is always free and will always be nice for you to actually do, so you know the next time I upload a video. Put links down to everything such as Patreon and Coffee and other stuff down in the description below. Again, my name is GamePenguin21. Thank you all again so much for watching, and a peace off.